I live in a van that smells like race gas. Need a shower. Charity, anybody? Actually, it's tax deductible. It's sponsorship money. Anybody? Just need a little bit extra money to get to the next race. And then I'll get a factory ride and life will be good again. Anybody? Anybody?
Build a wall.
We're going to build a wall. We need a wall.
We're going to build a wall.
Say build a wall?
Build a wall. Build the wall. Build the wall. Build a wall.
You'll pay me under the table?
We're going to build a wall. Nobody
all
said
I
that
need.
before.
It.
Build the wall.
Let's go build a wall.
It's going to be a big, fat, beautiful wall.
Welcome back, subscribers. This is Johnny Hopper, and this is a rebuttal to a video I made a couple weeks ago, basically stating that riders need a pay raise. And this is my solution to making Supercross great again. And first off, I'm just gonna jump in and just say that we need more riders on salary. We need second string riders, third string riders. We need teams to have 4 or 5 guys that they're paying 50 grand a year to race motorcycles. And I'm gonna come up with some solutions on how I think we can obtain and do that. And so please, if you don't agree with me, well, there's a comment section down below. You can give me a hard time. Quite honestly, I've seen a couple disses the last couple weeks that have made me giggle. You know, I try not to take it too personal because this is just the internet. That's kind of what it is. You look at every other major sport, football, soccer, baseball, basketball, there's a bunch of individuals on a team that never get any real play time. They're just sitting on the bench. They practice with the teams, but they don't get to compete in the actual event.
Not afraid of the sun anymore.
That's good, buddy. How's the moon treating you?
Not a fan.
They're just there in case somebody gets hurt. And these guys are making $100K or more just to do that. And I know there's a lot more outside money in these sports are quite a bit more popular, but how do we get motorsports to get to that realm so that we can have that much money and be able to pay 5 or 6 riders on a team so that you don't just have 1 or 2 factory guys and very minimal teams. You have just one major factory team for each brand. It would be cool to see 5 or 6 different teams for each. So yes, those sports are 10 times more popular. They have a lot more money coming in, but their upfront cost is not near as much as motorsports in general. Yes, it's because of the whole motor in general, but these teams just start spending outrageous amounts of money. Factories are so wasteful. If you've ever been to a national, Supercrosses, it's kind of hard to do that because of the stadium, but if you've ever been to a national, there's a bunch of people dumpster diving after the fact because all these teams start throwing away tires, clutches, chains, lots of other stuff. And so these guys just try to get this stuff because it's essentially brand new. It's got maybe an hour on it, maybe. It's sometimes even after practice, they start throwing away stuff. It's a huge cost up front, brand new tires and clutches and yada yada. Granted, it's for competitive advantage. I do understand that. That's the sport we live in, so let me continue. I'm just going to use a rough estimate for a factory bike. Let's just say it's $250,000. A stock entry-level bike is 10 grand. Factory bike is 250. These teams have 1 or 2 of these factory bikes with their riders every race, and they've got enough equipment to build at least 1, maybe 2 more in their semi every weekend. And they swap out motors like every 2 hours or something, which costs about 20 grand or so to rebuild. It's just ridiculous how expensive this sport is and how much money the factories are spending on this. This is why every team seems to be going under, because they can't keep up because of how much they're spending. You have a little bit coming in and you've got a shit ton going out. So all I'm suggesting is this sport, motocross, supercross, is becoming more and more like Formula 1 or MotoGP, where the cost is outrageous. These teams can't keep up unless you're a big dog. Factory Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, those big manufacturers, you don't even want to play ball because you can't, just because of the price. So my solution is a stock class, okay? Because stock bikes, minimal cost, and maybe you could even go with the teams and say, hey, we're gonna have $1 million budget. Just to throw out there, we're gonna have $1 million budget. So you can do whatever you want, but that's all you can spend on these motorcycles. That's for the whole year, for the whole season. And then these teams would be able to come in and you'd have 5 or 6 satellite teams, kind of like in the 90s, because nobody showed up in these huge semis. People showed up, factory Honda and them with McGrath, they showed up in these box vans. 1-800-COLLECT, they had a box van bring these huge semis with them, especially at these races. And so the cost was down, and granted, yeah, the 2-stroke thing made cost quite a bit less too. The 4-strokes have definitely hurt this. So if we could have a stock class, that would be great. I was able to do some testing for some arena cross teams, and I've ridden some satellite bikes before. Compared to the bikes that I could afford, when we would go test, I was 4 seconds a lap faster on a motocross track on a modded satellite team's bike than the stock bike that I have, or per se the race bike that I spent 15-20 grand for. And in arena cross, I was almost 2 seconds a lap faster around a 45 second track, maybe a little over exaggerating. I was about a second faster on the modded out stuff, and that's a huge difference, because there's hundreds of riders out there that can be competitive, that are sitting on the couch. And if you had these other satellite teams, these guys would get noticed and they'd be able to have a job to go race on the weekend and make a living, because the sport had more money and they were on a team that could actually pay them a salary. Because if we could get these teams to cut their expenses in half, they would have more money to hire more riders, and we have more riders, we'll have more fans, and it's just gonna spiral onwards and make the sport bigger. Not to mention, nobody's gonna go broke. More sponsors will want to come in because everyone is making money. That's just kind of how it works. And I'm not gonna name any names because I've already opened up a can of worms, but some of the top pros that I've talked to, just being around the pits, they told me that the days of 50% bike, 50% rider are over. It's more of 80% bike, 20% rider. And let me know in the comments below. I want you to. Let me know if you think I'm just full of shit or if you agree with me. But I would like to make this sport bigger, and I would like to see it grow bigger, because ultimately I don't want to see it dying, and it's been dying the last few years. That's my 2 cents. That's how I think we can make Supercross great again. Please like, subscribe. If you want to, follow me on Instagram, that'd be cool. But then watch the next video, and this is Johnny signing off.